sometimes when we look at relationships, we think that silence is the best way to be to keep maintaining strong, healthy relationships. But we don't realize sometimes is that people suffer in silence, and that there's some people who go through violent relationships and don't know how to get out of those violent relationships because they feel like there's no one to lean on or to talk to about it. Some people feel like no one understands what they're going through. Today, I want to talk to a very, very special guest on about these type of relationships and some of the issues that surround domestic violence, and hopefully we can find some clarity to how we can achieve better support for people who are going through domestic violence, also learn more about domestic violence. Without further ado, now I'm going to butcher your name, okay? So you're going to have to help me out with your name here.
Okay, I will.
Miss Moneira Hawkins. How do I say your first name?
Moneira.
Moneira. Okay, Miss Moneira Hawkins. Can I call you Mo?
That's what everybody calls me. That's perfectly fine.
Okay, so I'm here with Miss Mo, who is a life coach, also a motivational speaker. Is that right? You're a motivational speaker and life coach, right? Yes.
Yeah.
And also a survivor of domestic violence yourself, and here to give us more information to educate me and all of you about domestic violence. So can we start with this, Miss Mo? Can we start with tell us a little bit about your story on what kind of experiences you have had with domestic violence in the past?
Sure. It happened to me, I would say more than once with two different, boyfriends that I had at the time. One, the first one, I was younger, even though it doesn't matter what age. And, he would push me, I push him back, and, it was different, different things like that. And then I know one time I think he wanted to go somewhere and I didn't want to go, and he got upset. And so, we started like a little shoving match. And then he kind of got aggressive, and I believe he tried to choke me, but I fought back. So, I ran in the kitchen. I remember getting this big pot that my mom had, and I started beating him, with the pot, don't ever put your hands on me. And then after that, he left, ran out my house, and I went to go get a cousin of mine. And, then my cousin, he went to look for him, he couldn't find them and everything. And that was basically, it. So that was the first instance, but I always knew and came up and was raised in a household that domestic violence, or it wasn't even called domestic violence back then. It was just, you don't put your hands on a female as a male. And I was just told and taught, if a male ever hits you, you hit him back. It does not matter. He's not supposed to hit on you. So, domestic violence didn't come till years later, which it was, named, but I didn't even know that that's what was going on. I just know he hit me, I hit him back. And so the second time I was older and I had my daughter, and I was in a relationship, and this was, a long relationship. And I had always heard previously that he was an abuser and that he always beat on, his girlfriend. And people used to tell me don't talk to him, things like that. I said, well, I'm going to tell you right now, he's not going to put his hands on me. I don't, that's not going to happen. So I told him in the beginning, and we were together, for a good while. And then I decided I didn't want to be with him anymore. And so we were going through, the back and forth, breaking up, talking, trying to work things out, things like that. And then he had seen me with someone else. And when he pulled up on us, he jumped out the car and he hit me. And all I remember is waking up in the ambulance. I don't remember anything else. He knocked me out. And, you go through everything, go to the hospital, family come, they called the police, everything. And then the next day he called and he tried to make up, and I was like, you don't ever call me. You can't call me. And if I was you, I would not come here. My family was literally sitting outside waiting around the clock for him to show up. And it was a thing to where as though he just kept tormenting me. He didn't even stop at that. He would he had an extra key to my house, and I didn't get a chance to get the locks changed. He went in my house one day, and I was in the medical field. So in the medical field, you need scrubs to go to work. He went in my home, took all my scrubs out. I came home ready to go to bed, get ready for work the next day. I looked in my closet and I'm like, where's my scrubs? He had taken all my scrubs, so he knew I couldn't go to work if he took all my scrubs. So I had to call his mom, call the police and everything, to get my clothes back to be able to go to work. And then it just didn't stop. It was the phone calls. He would call my job and to hospital police, and they had to get involved. He would just threaten me. They had to walk me to my car for safety and everything. And then by the time I got home, I tried to make sure he wasn't following me. But by the time I got home, there was like a cousin or my neighbor. They were outside. They were men. They were outside waiting for me to pull up to just walk me in the house to make sure like he didn't, run up on me or anything like that. And then it got to a point to where as though I got sick, and I was off for work, and he just kept calling and calling and calling me. And I said, I can't take this anymore. So I got up, drove to his job, and I sat there, and then I seen a state trooper, and I flagged down the state trooper, and I told them, and at that time he happened to have a warrant out for his arrest. I told the state trooper, I said, my boyfriend is harassing me. I said, he's not even my boyfriend, he's my ex. He's harassing me, he won't leave me alone, I don't want to be with him, and he has a warrant out for his arrest. And I said, he hit me, not too long ago. I didn't press charges, but it's not too late. So long story, short, he called in for backup. He told me what to do. He said, when we bring him out, you go ahead and beat the horn and pull off to let us know we got the right person. And they went in his job and they arrested him. And I beat and I drove off and I went back home. And I called his mom and I told his mom and his sister what happened. And they said, oh, well, you did what you had to do. He shouldn't have been, doing that. And so while he's locked up, the district attorney calls me and they're like, what do you want to do? And I said, I'm going to press charges. I'm tired of him. Like me, because how I was raised, thank God I wasn't afraid. It was irritating. Of course I was, afraid for my life at times because you never knew what he was going to do. Right. But I said, no, you're going to pay for what you did. Now, if you would have just left me alone, I tried to keep everything peaceful, because you hit me, bust my face open and knock me out. I just wanted to be away from you. But now that you want to keep harassing me, you're going to pay for this. And so, the district attorney got in touch with me. I went, I did what I had to do, and he ended up doing some jail time behind it. He ended up doing, jail time for the abuse that, he put on me.
Shout outs to you for being such a strong person, strong woman, and fighting back against this and not allowing him to have control over your life or think he was going to dictate your life, no matter how many times he tried. Because I know that's one of the things that abusers do in these relationships. Their main thing is trying to control you in different ways. And what people understand is domestic violence doesn't necessarily always mean hitting on you, but also trying to take advantage of you financially, keep you under control financially. It's mental abuse, it's emotional abuse. There's so many different levels of abuse that they do, but their main focus is trying to control you, control where you go, control what you wear, control what you do, how you spend your money. But I like the way you fought back and how it's truly shown in your upbringing, just how you handle the situation, that you had a strong support system, which unfortunately a lot of women don't have. But what kind, did you have any PTSD, especially with him having like keys to your house? Like, how did you sleep? Like, when knowing this man is constantly harassing you and he has a key to your house at any time, like, how was it like living during that time? Like, just simple things like just watching TV or just sleeping. Did you have to sleep with like one eye open, or how was that?
No, I didn't. What I did was, like I said, that time I had forgot to, it just like I forgot or didn't get a chance to get the locks changed. But right after he did that, immediately, my male cousins, they got in touch with the maintenance man, and he came and they had him, change the locks out. So he wasn't able to get in. I would go home and make sure all the windows were locked, and there was no way that, he might have had something trapped where as though he could get into a window, get into a door, or anything like that. And then I was pretty much, like peaceful. I would hear a car outside and I would maybe run to the window to be like, is that him out front? You know, things like that. Before I would go to work for a little while, I did used to look out the door, you know, look to the left, look to the right, just look at where we lived at. I could look over on the next block or so and make sure that, you know, he wasn't nowhere around. And just, you know, all those type of things. So I really wasn't too afraid of him. My girlfriends, when we would go out, they're like, if he come, we're going to pick up something and we just, you know, going to knock him upside his head. Because that was the type of person. Yeah. That was the type of person, you know, that he was. And then eventually, like I said, when he went to jail, it was like mandated as a part of his sentence that he wasn't, you know, to come anywhere near me. And just, you know, again, besides my family members saying it, his family members even told him stay away from her. And the judge, you know, put it in his sentencing sheet that if he does, he was going right back to jail. So I know at that time he didn't want to go back to jail because he did a couple months and, you know, missed his whole summer and everything else. So he pretty much, he stayed away.
That's awesome. Hey, I'm glad he missed his whole summer. I mean, he deserved that. You put your hands on women and stuff. That's one of the first things, like, seriously, like, things you know is, right, man, come on. You're not a man if you hit a woman. I always say that, regardless of the situation. I'm sorry. In my personal opinion, you're not a man if you hit a woman. It takes more of a man to walk away from a situation than sit there and respond and react in that way. It takes more of a man to show restraint. I'm just saying. But I got to ask you a question. The moms, you said you spoke to his mom, you have a relationship with his mom and sisters. How did they respond, you know, when they found out about the type of abuse that he was trying to put into your life? How did they respond? Were they supportive of you? How were they with this?
They were, and we are still in touch to this day. Like his sister and I, we still call each other sisters. Like she's my sister. We text every day, good morning, have a blessed day, you know, things like that. They were supportive because they knew what he was doing was wrong. And his mother, you know, she said, no, I don't want my son locked up or in jail, but he knows better and he can't do that. So if that's what you have to do, you do it. And she basically said, you do what you got to do. That, you know, that's just it. And other than that, you know, he'll learn. But no, they were supportive of me, but he did have a family member that was against me, stopped speaking to me. She didn't speak to me for years. She did not speak to me for years. She blamed me. She blamed me for it. Yeah, she blamed me because I got her cousin locked up. She was mad. Yeah, she was mad. But his sister and his mother, they were supportive. They were supportive.
I have to ask you this question. This is going to be off subject for one quick second, but I'm sorry. I've been meaning to ask this to like every woman that comes on the show because I'm serious. I need to know this like personally. Why is it that women are like a lot of times the worst supporters of other women when they go through this type of thing? When you hear women go through like getting raped or something, I constantly hear women say, well, they should have spoke up sooner. It must have really happened because they didn't speak up sooner. Or when they go through domestic violence or something, you got women who be the main ones bashing other women. And it like puzzles me because I'm like, you can relate to another woman going through this because not that domestic violence only affects women, but I'm like, you know, you can relate to some of these situations that could possibly happen to your life. Why is it that women constantly are the least supportive of other women? I mean,
now that
you get expert opinion.
I find it hard as well because I lived through it with my daughter. Like, you know, it was a different kind of assault from a family member, but I didn't know about it for like maybe 3 or 4 years. She hid it from me. And when it all came out, she was scared. She didn't like know how to say it, and he had threatened her. So when you look at that, you don't know what that woman is going through to, you know, like really, what's the word? Judge her. You can't judge a situation because you really don't know. And to be honest, I look at women that come out with these big, I guess, sexual assault cases that come against celebrated people, you know, in Hollywood and things like that. And I just be like, 20 years later, and why didn't you say something before now? Like, And then, you know, you really have to, and I'm being honest, but you have to think about it. Maybe they weren't comfortable. Maybe they were scared. Some women say that they just wanted to go away, that they didn't even want to talk about it. And then it just happens to come back up. And now that it happens to come back up and they're a little bit more comfortable, okay, yeah, now I do want to say something about it. And there is no law that says you only got 2 years to say I was raped. You only got 2 years to say that I was in a domestic. There's nothing that says that. And we should support one another because we really don't know the back end of that story. And I don't know why women do that. I really, really don't. I've had women judge me on things and I'm like, wow, I thought you would at least like maybe ask me, how can I help you? Or what happened for you to get in that situation? But you automatically judged me. Like that hurt. That hurts. I don't know. I couldn't tell you. I don't know why women automatically go there without even asking or just taking on that person's pain to understand. Walk in their empathy and then just try to be empathetic to understand. I don't even know why she didn't say anything, but what can I do to help you? How can I help you get through this? Yeah, because it's still evidently bothering you or something there in your life that you haven't got past.
No, seriously. It's like a lot of times abusers and stuff threaten you. They threaten you, and then you do deal with the issue of, is somebody going to believe me? Are they going to accuse me of doing this? And this is one of the things I touched on in the last show I did. Actually, last show I did before this one. And I talked about how, you know, even when you're a young kid and your mom's boyfriend or something touch you or do something to you, and when you go to your mom, especially in the Black community, I don't know about outside Black community, but especially in the Black community, when you go tell your mom, hey, you know, your boyfriend touched me or something, first thing happens is they start to blame you. Well, you was a little too fresh anyway. You know, you must have did something to provoke this. And then it turns to, you know, I don't believe you. I don't believe you. It's just kind of like, I'm sorry, I had to ask you because it just puzzles me sometimes that I'm looking at this and I keep hearing about them like, yo, why me as a guy defending women against women violence with other women? They like really arguing with me like as if like it's a time limit on rape. It's not like.
Exactly.
You guys speak when you're comfortable. Like you said, a lot of times it's more comfortable just staying silent because you just want it to be over with. It's crazy. So going back to your previous situation. So I know you said you heard all the different statements and people was warning you about the possibility of domestic violence in this guy's history. Did you see anything in particular in his behavior early on when you first started the dating process to allude to that he was potentially violent or would or have this type of behavior? Did you see anything in his actions when you first started dating him outside of what you were saying?
No, honestly, I didn't, because it's like he took me at my word when I told him in the beginning, like, don't put your hands on me. Like, if you do, it's going to be a problem. You know, he really took me at my word. And I think it's when he really realized that we couldn't be together and that I was going to talk to somebody else. That's when I believe it maybe, I didn't say it was right, it maybe triggered something in him. And then he's like, you know, he snapped and he put his hands on me. But no, I really didn't see anything. He never tried it because I think he knew. But I guess this one time, you know, maybe he just snapped and couldn't take it no more.
Yeah, it's funny. I was talking to my sister. I told you about that. Me and you talked on the phone. You know, my sister dealt with similar situation. And I asked her this question. I was like, did you see anything early on with the guy she was dating as regards to, you know, domestic violence? And she was like, honestly, no. She said, no, I didn't see anything. You know, he seemed like a regular guy. But then she started speaking on, you know, my mom was pointing out things like, you know, he always trying to separate you. He always trying to keep you away from your family. If I'm around you, he has to be sitting there. Or if I'm on the phone with you, he has to be close by. And she was like, she never noticed it until the violence started, that he was a violent person. And that just goes to show you, you know, all monsters don't look like they do on TV. You know, sometimes they look like regular people. And, you know, they sound like the sweetest, most compassionate, most romantic man in the world. But underneath that lies a real beast that puts you in danger. So what do you tell your daughter to try to protect her from running into a guy like this and trying to seek out and knowing what to look for in a man to prevent this from ever happening to her? What's them conversations like?
Basically, I use as a reference a family member that I had that went through, domestic violence, and I happened to go through it with her. Mm-hmm. And, I would use the reference to that because I seen how her boyfriend at the time would like talk down on her, how he would, like call her names and everything like that. And just, belittle her self-esteem in front of us. It wasn't just when it was them, but in front of us. Or if I wasn't there, another family member, was there or something. And, he would do these things. And I used to be like, that's a problem, Before even the laying of the hands, I would say that he did, to put his hands on her. But it's just that the way that he would talk and things that he would say and the names that he would call her. And so I would tell her the stories, and I would be like, you are more than that. Start to take those as red flags. Right. Y'all might have, your way of talking to one another, which is like, fun and funny and y'all cool and everything. But when it begins to turn aggressive, when he begins to really belittle you and he's talking down on you and he's calling you out your name, things that you are not, then take that as first sign verbal abuse before it even begins to get physical. And, I tell her those things. And then, of course, like me, like a warrior, he put his hands on you, then you let him know he got a problem. But as her mother, I would say when she did date a guy, when she would date a guy, that when I met him, it's like a few first things that I say that don't make me have to repeat it. And the few first things, one of them was, she's mine. If you put your hands on her, your mama gonna be in a black dress. And I'm just saying, I'm just saying, I'm not being smart, but I'm just like, I know your mother loved you like I love her. So do me and you a favor. Don't put your hands on her. I'd rather you just walk away. That's it. And so they get that from the door and they understand, because she'll say like, they'll have like a little joking thing, it wasn't nothing serious. And they'll be like, I can't, I can't, because your mom already warned me or something like that. Yeah, she did. And it's not just her mother, but her father also. So, things like that. And I let her know you are too valuable for that. Like, you are so much more. He's supposed to love you and care for you and, provide for you and protect you. He is not supposed to harm you for you to have to get protection from someone else.
That's right. I like something you said to me on the phone. I'm going to actually repeat it. I don't know if you remember this,
sure,
but you told me about a conversation you and your daughter had, and you was talking about a movie that you took her to see. I just want to set up what you said. Do you remember what we were talking about?
Yeah. Yeah.
That as a soon-to-be father of a daughter, my wife's pregnant. She's 8 months pregnant with our daughter. And as a father that's about to have a daughter, when you told me that, I was like, I got to steal that, first of all. And it made me light up when you told me that, because I said to you, see, if more mothers talk to their daughters the way you put that to your daughter, I think we not blaming mothers for domestic violence, but just saying, I think more women will understand their value, would appreciate themselves more, and would not be tolerant as they are with some of the things that dudes do when mistreating them. I'm not saying that women are the reason it's happening. I'm just saying what you said was just so beautiful. So can you share that one more time with me, please, and with the audience?
Sure. She used to have, I would say, some self-esteem issues. She used to have confidence issues. She really didn't understand, because her father wasn't like there, understand that how beautiful and valuable she really, really was. And when I say valuable, I told her that no one can ever put a price tag on you. And you never let a man hit you, because he really can't even afford you. And when I say afford you, I don't just mean afford you, financially. He has to be able to afford you mentally, emotionally, spiritually. He has to be able to afford you in all those manners. It's just not material things or it's something with a dollar sign that, I'm going to say that he can't afford you, because actually him just having you is priceless. That's priceless. And so, I told her, I said, remember when we went to see Catwoman, the movie? And she said, yes. And I said, okay, think about the movie. Remember Catwoman did all these like jumps and like she did all these acrobats and all the red lines that was protecting this one diamond. And she said, yeah. I said, okay, remember how valuable that diamond had to be valuable because everybody was trying to get to it. And do you see everything that she did to get to that? I said, well, I want you to think of yourself as that diamond in the box. I said that you are so valuable. Anybody just can't have you. And they have to do all these type of things to show you that they love you because you are just that valuable. You're that valuable. And it was only one of them. And it's only one of you. And I told her, don't you ever, ever forget that. And I made her look in the mirror and I said, do you see what I see? And she said, no, I see a girl. I said, no, I see a diamond. I don't know what you see, but I see a diamond. And from that day forward, I'm going to make her say, who are you? What am I looking at? And she would say a diamond. And it shot her self-esteem and everything, out the roof. I had to reassure her that I wasn't going to wait for a man to do it. I had to do it. And ever since then, she knows exactly, how valuable she is.
Absolutely. See, I love that. I love that story. See, that story makes me smile every time I hear it. That is such a dope story. And I love how you spoke life into your daughter. Because, see, that's one thing we got to learn to do as parents. And me as well. But to speak life into our children so that they don't look for those positive affirmations from other people. They don't look for someone else to strengthen their self-esteem. We as parents have to be on the front lines of lifting up our children's self-esteem, reminding them of their value, even when they can't see it in themselves. I mean, exactly. That's why I love your story. I love that you put it in that context to tell your daughter to remember who you are, remember your value. So therefore, do not allow anyone to devalue you. I love that story. I love it. Awesome. I love it. Awesome. I've had a conversation with my sons. So what's your upbringing? How was your upbringing? Did you have a lot of positive affirmations into you to make you into the strong warrior that you are, that knows your worth, knows your self-worth, and not to allow anybody to disrespect you? I know you said that domestic violence was a no-no in your house, but did you get those same positive affirmations spoken to your life as a young child?
You know what? I really didn't. Honestly, I didn't get like the beautiful side of it, I'll say, to affirm like my beauty and that I was worthy of anything or that I was valuable at any time. Mine was basically, I don't know how to put it, but I would say like a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like straight ABCs. Like you protect yourself, self-respect, you make people, earn your respect and things like that. So it was that I was always like this warrior type girl, like, oh, you're going to respect me. You're not going to disrespect me. And you're not going to just put your hands on me. You're not going to talk to me any kind of way. And, things like that. So that was basically, I would say, what I, grew up and was taught as I was growing up. But the value and the beauty and the worthy and everything, I didn't get that until later in life. And it was just being around other positive women at that time, older and other women would speak, into my life. And I had to realize that, oh, that's me, And so I changed my attitude. I changed how I looked at myself. And then I said, I'm raising a daughter. So she has to know these things as well. It's not just for me, it's for every young girl and every woman that's coming behind me. They have to know these things. And when I look at, a lot of women these days, it's like they want to so buy themselves everything new to give them a value, but that's not it. You got to, you could look like anything. You could be any size. But you have to know that from the inside out, you are beautiful and worthy. And you have to walk it. You have to talk it. You have to stand in it. When you enter a room, every head should turn just because the way that you entered that room and sat down or even stood there. They should want to know, well, who is that? I don't care what you look like. It's just that the way that you carry yourself, but that's the confidence that comes from within. And so, I guess when I looked at it, I had the confidence because I knew that, like, if you're in my presence, don't try to disrespect me. I'm not going for that. But then I had to understand also that I'm a beautiful woman, as a beautiful Black woman as well. So I had to put those things together and marry them. And then I understood what my real value was. And a dollar sign you cannot put on it. You could just add to it. That's it, but you cannot you can't put a dollar sign to how valuable I know that I am, because I'm an asset. I'm not a liability. And that's how I look at it.
That's right. That's right. I like that. My brother-in-law got me on that right now, that asset liability. He got me on that. Like everything is, he got me all messed up now. Everything I'm buying, I'm doing now. I'm like, okay, is this an asset liability? I'm like, man, you messed up my whole life now. You destroyed my whole life now. I can't do nothing. I can't do nothing reckless no more because of that.
Okay.
For real. So like, okay, so my question is to you, my next question is to you. I'm enjoying this conversation. It's a very dope conversation. And again, thank you for coming on. I've been trying to do this conversation forever. And, it's trying to get somebody that, wants to come on and talk about domestic violence. It's something that's hard to do. I know quite a few people that have been through it, and privately, people will talk about it, but publicly, it's one of those things that, you're scared. So many women are scared to speak about because I think they're afraid of looking weak because they went through it, but I don't see women as that. I see women who committed domestic violence as the weak one in that situation. And then a lot of women deal with the issue of having support. Now, one of the big issues we have with domestic violence is helping someone get out of it. You okay?
Okay, yeah.
Look out for me a second there. But it's one of the hardest things we have is trying to get people out of domestic violence. And one of the hard things is supporting someone that's going through domestic violence. And why I say it's hard supporting them is because you love somebody, and I just want to add clarity, is you love someone, you see them getting beat on, you know about it, and you, of course, want to pull them out, but it's like the old saying, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't force them to drink. So you can't force them out of the relationship. And it feels like the more you pull, the more close they get to their abuser. So have you experienced an issue or situation where you had someone that was close to you that was dealing with domestic violence and you tried to help get them away from that situation, but they refused to?
I did. I've had a few people, but the one that I would say was very close to me was a cousin of mine, a family member of mine, and she was being abused, and it hurt. It really did. And I didn't never want to see her go through that. And when she had called me one night, and it was about maybe 12, 1, 2 in the morning or so, and I got up to go to her aid. And I drove over there, and I got there, and she was already in the doorway pregnant with trash bags. He had put her stuff in trash bags and put her out. And I pulled up, and I'm like, okay, come on. I got her stuff. I put it in the car. I put her in the car. I took her to my house. I'm like, here, lay down, go to bed, I'm going to sleep. That was it. I knew she was safe. Got up the next day, getting myself and my daughter ready for work and school. And, I'm like, here, you can stay here as long as you want to. Call me. I'm going to call and check on you, all of that kind of stuff. And by the end of that day, I would say she was going, and I'm like, where are you going? So I dropped her off to her mom's. And then I believe by either the end of that night or the next morning, she had went back. And I said, okay, all right. I can't say anything, but like, why would you do that? And, he did all the apologizing. He was sorry. He wasn't going to do it no more. And, sweet talked her and all of that. Okay. Then a couple months later, I would say it happened again. And I went again. And I said, okay, I'm going to come again. I went and got her. I think I took her to her mom's house this time or whatever, but I'm trying to help. And I'm like, okay, at least file a protective order of abuse or something, like at least file something against him. I understand you love him. That's your kid's father. I get it. But come on now, please. He is really beating on you. and she didn't want to do it. And I really don't remember if she filed the paperwork or not. But lo and behold, a couple of days later, her mom called me and was like, she went back. And I said, that's it. Okay. I'm calling her. And I said, why, what, when? I said, I can't believe you did it. It's not that I judged her, but this man beat you. Why would you go back? I don't care how much apologizing he did. And I understand the weakness. I understand you love them. I get all of that. I know the kids, they're there. I get all of that. But what if he take you out? Then what's going to happen? We're going to get the kids probably anyway. So it's like, oh my gosh, it was hard. So I told her, I said, well, I'm going to tell you like this. I'm going to always be here for you. If something does happen, I'll take one of the kids. Somebody could take the other one. But I'm going to get me a bad black dress to come to your funeral. I'm not coming again. Don't call me no more. I'm sorry. If I get the phone call, I'm just going to go get a black dress, make sure you got life insurance, and that's it. Because I just don't see and can understand why you want. I can't help you if you're in it. I can only help you and try to get you out of it and get you away from him. But if you're in it, he's constantly telling you things. He's already kind of like brainwashed you. He has the power over you. He has the control over you and all of this stuff. So I can't help you if you're in it. I can only help you if you're here or at your mom's, somewhere out of it. And that was it. And I just was like, oh, like God, I do remember saying like, God, please don't let her get killed. Please don't let him kill her, and I had to back away for me because again, I want to fight him, but I can't go fight him. And then you're going to go right back to him. The men in our family can't do anything. If you going to keep running back to him, they're not going to keep running to your rescue. So I had to step away and I said, okay, this is not my business. This is her business. She is considered an adult. She's grown. And I just got to, I hope she gets it one day. And that was it. And it was painful because, family things would go on and I would be like, I don't want to smile at him knowing that he didn't beat on you. Like, no. I wasn't feeling it. I wasn't feeling it at all. And it was hard. But I walked away and I took myself out of it because I said, I'm not going to do this. If you want to be here, okay. You like it, I love it. It's nothing I could do.
Right. No, it's truly that way. And like I was talking to somebody recently and I was explaining to them because they were talking about a friend that's dealing with this. I was telling them, and I want to hear your opinion on what I'm about to say. I said, the more you pull, the more they're going to get closer to that person. I said, because you got to understand, somewhere in this situation, they're identifying with this abuse as love. They're identifying this abuse as love. What's happening, the more we pull, because like I said, I've been in a situation with this too, the more we pull, the more they look at us as if we're the abuser. Like, yo, you're trying to pull me away from somebody I love. You're trying to pull me away from this person. And then that person's already in their head telling them, I love you and this is my way of showing love. And they already turned them against us, telling them like, yo, you spend too much time with this person. This person just don't want us together. And they feed them with that stuff. They already, they didn't bit the carrot. They're all into it. So the more you say, it just reinforces what they're already being told and forcing them deeper into that relationship. But I also say, parents, one of the things, I don't know if like they say it now, but a lot of times when kids grow up, and I stand on this, don't tell your child when a little boy hit her that that's his way of showing he like you. When he's talking bad about you or speaking ill about you, that's not a way of saying, oh, he just like you. That's why he always messing with you. No. That's teaching your child when they grow up to say, hey, when a dude beat me up, then guess what? He loves me. That's why he keep beating me up. When he's talking down on me, he loves me. When he controls me, he loves me. No, that's not love. In no way. And then I heard you speaking about, your daughter and the jokes and stuff. What I will say to all people is there's a lot of truth in a joke. There's a lot of truth in a joke. So, I'm not saying all jokes are serious, but you gotta be careful when you listen to some jokes because people, there's some truth when people sit there talking and joking with you. Talk about shit, smack the mess out of you, and then laugh after it. Yeah, that laugh was just a cover up. They really want to smack you. So
at that moment, they really, really do. And you know what? When you just said like as kids, I'm gonna reverse it. My son, I would tell. It's like he would come home and he would say like a girl in his class when he was younger would hit him, and I'd be like, okay, but that don't make that right either. And he'd be like, but you told me I can't hit her. That's right. You cannot hit her. But this is what I want you to do. You go to school again, and she hits you again. You tell her you got 3 times to hit me. And after that 3rd time, you tell the teacher, and then you come home and you tell me. Okay? But don't put your hands on her. But you warn her. She got 3 times before you tell her stop. And after the 3rd time, you go tell the teacher and you tell her to stop and put her. I said, if you have to put your hand up, just like go like this and tell her, don't hit her, but be like, stop. Like, just tell her to stop, but do not hit her. And it came a point to where so that happened in school. And they called me and they tried to say that he hit the girl. And I said, well, that right there, I'm not even going to believe it. I'll be up to the school tomorrow. Call her parents and tell her we all going to meet. Right. And we met with, the vice principal. And I said, now tell me what happened. And he said it. He said, she hit me once. I told her to stop. She pushed me again. I told her to stop. He said, and she hit me again. I put my hand up and I said, stop. I'm not playing with you. And I told the teacher, and the teacher thought I hit her because she started screaming or whatever. And they was telling the teacher he didn't hit her. And so she wrote him up and got him suspended. Mm-hmm. And I said, that's what I taught him to do and at that time I said, domestic violence ain't good either from a woman to a man. He's a little boy. She's a girl. She can't beat on my son. And we know that if he hits her back, oh my gosh, she's already wrong. So who said that it's okay for her to beat on my son? He told her to stop. So, then her dad said, tell me what happened. He said, is that what happened? And she said, she didn't say anything. And she said, yes, he told me to stop. And then I hit him again and he put his hand up. But somehow she fell or something into his hand. And he said, but did he hit you? And she said, no. And I said, okay, then. Because I already knew, first of all, you kind of know your child. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And second of all, he was very, very adamant on he doesn't hit girls. His uncles taught him that. His male cousins taught him that. I taught him that. So he already knew, I can't hit this girl. But she keep hitting on me. Right. He said, and I only did what my mom taught me to do. And I said, exactly. I said, I don't teach my son to beat on women, but I teach my son that it's not right for a woman to beat on you either. Domestic violence goes both ways.
Talk about it. Let's talk about it. I'm glad you mentioned that because, yes, that's one of the things that we do not bring enough light to. We talk about domestic violence and how women also be hitting on men, provoking men, threatening men, challenging men, doing all this stuff. And the funny thing is, it's sort of like when a man gets, what's the word I'm looking for, sexually assaulted. The first thing you want to do is you want to laugh about it. When a man gets into a situation where he's being domestically abused by a woman, as society, what we do is we laugh at it and make fun of it. And it's not a funny thing. But then when that dude turns around and hit her, then, it's a huge thing. It's a huge thing. And I'll give you a good example, using celebrities. The Jay-Z and Solange thing. Let's talk about that. When they was in the elevator, it was all funny when she up there hitting and kicking on this dude. It was all funny. Now reverse that, and he turns around and hit her back. The whole storyline changes at that point. Exactly. All the storyline changes at that point. But we don't sit there and address the fact that men get abused by women too. And even when we show restraint, it's a laughing matter that a woman's hitting on us. And, oh, you're weak because you let a woman hit on you. It's like, what do you do? So, what kind of conversations? I know you said you have that conversation with your son. What's the conversation with your son, sort of like your daughter, to make sure that he knows his worth and not allowing the woman to mistreat him? What's those conversations like?
You know what? They're really sort of the same because I have to let him know that I don't, okay, it was a few instances, and I'm like, what did she say? And I'm like, who she not running you? No, she gonna have to watch how she said that. Don't let her talk to you just like any kind of way. Don't let her talk down to you just because, you know, she's a girl or she's a female young lady or whatever. No, you don't let her talk to you like that. So it's the same thing that I had to tell him, like, you're a king. And whoever you are with has to know that you are a king and she will be your queen. But she don't let her beat on you. Don't let her, you know, she's not to hit on you. And you are not to take that because it's still domestic abuse, domestic violence, you know, and you don't want a woman like that, that feels as though that, you know, she got to beat on you or hit on you, you know, things like that, because you're just as valuable as she is. Because if you do it to her, oh my gosh, you're getting locked up. Now I got to deal with her family. And, you know, it's the whole big thing, but you don't deserve it either. And those are things that I really, you know, and I tell him, I said, it don't make you soft. It don't make you weak. It don't make you anything like that. If you're not going to let a man hit on you, a hit is a hit. It's the same thing. I said, and you see your sister, you know, she'll tell people, I fight boys. Don't even try it. You know, don't even try it. I fight boys too. So don't think that you're going to put your hands on me. And I mean, it really does. It goes both ways because he has to learn how to have self-respect for himself as well as she has to respect him as well. And she'll lose that that respect, and he'll lose his self-respect. And if she thinks that it's okay, you know, for her to hit on him and it's not. And, you know, and then the same way, if it was vice versa, then that's going to cause a whole problem with his mother and his sister and his girl cousins. We coming for you. I know she's saying, you know what I'm saying?
No,
we
that's
coming
real
for
talk.
you. Like,
Real
it's
talk.
the same way. If your dad and your brothers will come for him, his mother, his sister, and all his girl cousins, maybe his aunts, we coming for you. So it's like, why? Let's not even go through it. Keep your hands to yourself. If you got a problem, walk away. And it was even to a point I was like, call me. If it's really getting that bad, you can call me, but don't put your hands on. And I would tell him, don't let nobody put their hands on you. So that's something that he's very, very like adamant and well aware of. Like, you deserve the same respect as a female. There is no different on the scale when it comes to that kind of respect. There is none.
That's true. You know what? I'm sitting here thinking, and I figure I know how we can eliminate all this domestic violence stuff in one swoop. Okay, you ready for this?
Mm-hmm.
You gotta get rid of Lifetime. Okay, if we get rid of Lifetime, there will be no more domestic violence at all. Lifetime is the reason for domestic violence. Listen, men get mistreated on Lifetime. We get mistreated on Lifetime. Yeah. Me and my wife go back at this all the time. Like, yo, we need to eliminate Lifetime. I keep banning Lifetime in my house, but somehow my wife keeps turning it back on every time. We gotta get rid of Lifetime. That's how we're going to eliminate all this domestic violence stuff.
I get that. I get that.
Okay, do you be having post-traumatic stress from watching Lifetime? You Lifetime be up there making you know what I mean, start looking at people all sideways if you watch those movies.
No,
you're in the kitchen cutting up an onion, and then you look at him like, yeah, act like you want to get out of line. Don't make me use this knife right here.
No, I don't know that. That's too funny.
That's good. But so I asked you, going back to your previous situation. So how did, with your incident with your boyfriend who was constantly harassing you, in a way stalking you, how did that affect future relationships? How did it affect you trusting men in your future relationships after him? Did you have hard time trusting men, letting men in? How did it affect you?
I wouldn't say really a hard time trusting. It's like I had to extra reiterate that, like, don't put your hands on me. If you do things like that, I don't even want to go down that road with you, because this is what I've already come through. I'm not going through that again. You know, there's no need for that. So, you know, and then I learned how to say, like, if you don't want nobody to hit your mother or your sister, I'm somebody's mother and somebody's sister as well. Don't put your hands do not belong on me. So I didn't really have, like a PTSD about it, but it was like I was extra firm in my wording in the beginning to let someone know that is like really, that's a no-no. That's not going to happen. That's not going to happen. So that's what I had to do just as an extra protection for myself.
Made clear on the first date, y'all sitting there, doing drinks. You order the food, you sitting there cutting it up with a steak knife. Like, by the way, don't get no ideas now. Don't get no ideas. I didn't say you was going to try to hit me. I'm just letting you know. I don't play them games, all right?
Exactly.
Okay. You had
That's what we're not
like, okay. You pointing with the knife, like, okay. All right, okay.
Right.
now, tell me about yourself. What's your goals? What's your dreams?
Yeah, how about that? Oh, gosh.
Oh, seriously. I'm like, I'm sitting here as I'm talking to you, I'm enjoying the conversation, but I'm sitting here thinking about me as a father. Everybody keeps talking about, I can't wait to see how you are as a father. And I keep telling them, listen, when my daughter get here, first conversation I'm having with her is, listen, 26 years old when you start dating, all right? Now, I know it's not reality. 26 years old. And then remember, you got to get through your brothers first, then they got to get through me. Don't bring these little dirty boys around me, okay?
I know exactly what you mean. Woo!
Oh man, that's what's gonna keep me up at night, because all seriousness, man, it's just like I see how the dating pool is right now. I've been married for a minute, so I'm glad I don't have to worry about that no more. But just seeing some of the situations that women go through, it's like dudes have less and less respect. I mean, I know when I was younger, you heard the stories. It's like, oh, these dudes are just wow. It's like wow now, man.
It really is. And it's like a lot of females, they settle. They're settling thing to where as though they feel as though they want somebody, they need that attention, they need that affirmation, that love and affection. And a lot of females, they just settle. And I'd be like, you deserve so much more than that. Like, he's not even on your level, and you're trying to bring him up to your level, but it's just, it's not gonna, it's not gonna work because y'all not equal, and I understand you want to give him a chance, but I just noticed that, a lot of females, settle because, you want to be with someone, but that's not the one.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You gotta know your value, like you said. Know your value. Know who you are. Know your worth, but also, kind of monitor and see what they want. Don't date somebody that don't have no direction in their life and don't want anything. And I'm not saying, they gotta have, their own house or, a mansion and a great job. Like, some people you gotta build with. Like, I'm not gonna lie. When I met my wife, I was in school. I didn't have a lot going for me at the time. In fact, she told me she wasn't even gonna talk to me until I finished school. I mean, it motivated me because I wasn't even serious to think about it. Then when I got out of school, this will hit me with, well, you got to get a job. I'm like, how many steps you got to make me go through? But you know what? I also thank her, though, because I'm like, yo, to this day, I said, you helped motivate me and push me to be a better form of myself. And sometimes as women, what you have to do, even when a dude don't have everything you want, you got to make sure you work towards them goals and that he's serious about making it. It's deeper than just making, and it's important to make sure he's not the type that's going to hit you, but make sure he got some type of direction, some type of plan for your future. And that's the thing I say to my sisters all the time when they mention dudes. Like, yo, what's his plan? Like, what's his plan for you? Because if his plan is to just waste your time, then we don't need to talk about it because, this is just you having fun. Now, if you're serious, what's the plan? What's the plan in this situation? So,
that's right.
Yeah, you gotta have a plan.
I totally agree. And you, as a female or a male, you should kind of be able to see that in the beginning. Okay, they might don't have everything that you have or be on the level that you're on, but you should be able to see something, in them. Have they even started towards something? Are they even working towards something? Or are they just sitting there, like in the movie Daddy's Girls, where he said, I'm a rapper and you 40. That's a problem. That should be a red flag. That should be a big red flag right there. So, if it's something like that, that should be a big red flag. But I mean, okay, you might be up here in your career or something, And,
Oh,
they're like, well, I'm trying to get my business plan together. And I started looking into this. That lets you know, okay, but they have some potential. But if it's something like that, then you'd be like she was, check, please. I got to go. This ain't for me. Yeah, this ain't for me. Exactly.
You see 35 and Ticking before?
Yes.
Remember in that movie when she was dating the dude, he was looking all old. He in there, he was a gang member. You don't remember that? Talking about listen to his mixtape and everything. You don't remember that? He was in a limousine. This dude looked like he was like 60 in a limousine blasting his mixtape. He was a blood there. They was like, yo, this is crazy. But you do got dudes out here that's 60 years old talking about, yo, this is my mixtape. Run. Don't walk away. Run.
That's right.
Run when you see that dude. Run.
That's right. Run.
So run.
You ain't never lied.
Just start running. Take your shoes off if you have to. Just run. Oh, gosh. Yo, seriously. All right, before I don't want to run out of time before I have to ask you about this stuff, because I want to shine light on some of the other things, the more positive things you got going on. You're a life coach. You're a motivational speaker. How did you get into becoming a life coach and motivational speaker? What pushed you to go in that direction as far as career-wise?
Basically because I had stories to share to help someone. It was like I started noticing that when people would come to me or I was talk to certain people, that it was like motivation versus ministry. And I would be encouraging these people and talking to them. And once they hear my story or my background, it's like I noticed I had their attention. And, the room was quiet. People were listening. And then after people would come and say things or they would ask me questions, then they would open up about something they have been through or somebody they know, things like that. And I was like, okay, maybe I can do this. And so I fell in love with it. And it honestly started at my former church in Baltimore, to where I was on the youth council. And I was on the youth council. And then, every leader had a Tuesday that they had to teach Bible study. So as I'm teaching Bible study, talking to these teens, now I'm talking about teens from the inner city of Baltimore, okay? As I'm talking to these teens and I'm sharing real life stories with them, like certain times I would tell them, especially the ones that's in the street and want to sell drugs and things like that. And I'd be like, yo, you ain't about that life. Let me just tell you for real. You ain't about that life. Because see, when they put you in them silver bracelets and they usher you in that building and that gate closed behind you and they got to buzz that door to let you in and let you out, and you look around and you be like, I ain't nobody from my family here, and I'm really my last name and a number for I don't know how long I'm gonna be here. You ain't about that life. So stop what y'all doing in the streets trying to be tough and impress other people and go to school. And then I would put a little Bible on it and twist it, and I started to see that these kids would pay attention and their attitudes change. And then I shifted it to the adults, and I don't even know where it came from. And then I wrote my book, I published my book, and I shared my story, and then I started traveling talking about my book. And then that's how the motivational speaking came about. And I love it. That's number one on my list. The life coaching just came a little bit out of that, because it was like, actually, I started doing one-on-ones with people, and I didn't even know I was doing one-on-ones with people. And I was like, okay, so like, is this like a life coach or something? I said, I think it is. And I said, I want to do this. So I started studying it, and I found out how to take a class on it, got certified, and I just, I started putting it out there and booking people, one-to-one and having consults. And then, now have clients that I meet with every week, every 2 weeks, every 3 weeks. I meet with certain people, and it's like really helping them in areas that I've already come through. See, I can't talk anything that I haven't lived. That's what's on my website. My website, it tells you if I haven't experienced it, I don't talk it, because then I don't even know what I'm talking about. And I'm not a person that sit up and talk stuff that I don't know what I'm saying. I'll Google something to find out what I'm talking about to make sure it's accurate. So it's like, then I started having the one-on-ones, and I'm sharing my life experiences. You know, I'm sharing from being a solo parent. Sorry, I can't stand that single parent, single mom stuff. I can't stand it. So it's like, you know, from being a solo parent and raising a daughter, raising a son, and, you know, being an athletic mom and, you know, starting a business, being an entrepreneur. Like the story I told the kids, like, yeah, I sold drugs. I went to jail. I know what it's like. Telling that story, you know, being homeless, all the things that I've come through is why I can coach you through it, because I've already come through it. I've already survived it. So I can coach you through it because I didn't have nobody to coach me. Not like that. You know what I mean? I didn't have nobody to coach me like that, one-to-one, that I could call up and really talk. I had my ministers and my mentors, but I mean that really could kind of feel the same thing that I was going through, to tell me exactly how they survived that exact situation, you know? So that's how the life coaching and the motivational speaking came about. And when I say, you know, out of my whole entrepreneurship, that's number one. I will drop anything to travel to go do a speaking. Like I have a shameless plug. I have an event this weekend. So, you know, I'm doing a life coaching event, and it's called Excuses Down, Level Up. Like, I'm tired. I don't want no more excuses. And you got to know you're lit. You lit. You're on fire, but you don't even know you're on fire. So I have that event that I'm doing this coming Saturday, and I'm excited, you know, about that. Information is on my social media. But I will drop anything. If you call me today or tomorrow and say, can you speak in an event, and I'm available, I'm coming. I'm coming. Because if I could speak to someone and help a soul, that's what I want to do. I get phone calls in the middle of cooking dinner. Mo, I need you to pray. Mo, I need you to talk to so-and-so. Okay. That's what I do. That's what I do. And I love it. I love it.
Yes, I love that you do it. And I love the fact that you come on here and just being so honest and open with everything and just educating me, the audience, not only just about domestic violence, but about some of your history and the importance of being a better form of yourself, knowing your value, knowing your self-worth, and more specifically, knowing that some things are just not about that life with. Because like you said, those steel handcuffs, you know, those steel bracelets, they ain't cute. And you can put as many rhinestones as you want, they ain't cute. And when them doors shut behind you, it's a different type of feeling. I ain't never been in jail, but I went to visit my brother-in-law in jail, and when they shut that door, I was like, oh, see, I can't get loose of this.
Okay.
I said, I don't even like how that feel. You tell no. I said, oh no, I don't like how that sounded right there. Nah, so no, that's real talk though. No, seriously. So I appreciate everything you do, and I appreciate you even coming on here and talking about this, because like I said, you know, I've been trying to do this subject for years, and just talking about what you just kind of like jumping off what you just said. I don't talk about what I don't know about. I never experienced domestic violence. I never committed domestic violence to someone. The reason I didn't do this show is because I waited until someone like you, Miss Mo, would come on and talk about it, because I don't want to talk from perspective of I was just on sidelines watching somebody else. No, that's not what I do. If I don't know, I'll sit back and sit chill. Let the people that know tell me about it. But I really do appreciate you coming on and just, you know, educating me and the listeners with everything. You know, I definitely want to have you back on again, because I know we got a lot more to talk about, and you know, this was a cool experience. But before you go, I have to ask you something though. Are you gonna join? Are you gonna join with my protest against eliminating Lifetime from all channels? All women watching Lifetime. Are you? I just had to ask. I need support.
They be like, you did what, girl? I'll be like, oh, I'm sorry. So I don't know. Look, if I have to secretly sign something, I'll sign my alias to it. But I don't know.
I understand. I can't get no support on that. I can't get no support at all on that. Not even from my own wife. No, but seriously, I appreciate you though. Like, this has been an amazing conversation right here. I love it. You know, it's been fun. And, you know, we're not making light of domestic violence or the seriousness of domestic violence, because it is a very serious thing. It's something that we all should, you know, really take serious and take heed to, especially with our children, and, you know, having these conversations with our children. Listen, on this show, You know, if you watch my show, a lot of these topics I talk about on the show are very taboo, uncomfortable conversations, but they're
Mhm.
necessary conversations. Having a conversation about domestic violence with your sons and your daughters, it's going to be an uncomfortable conversation. Sort of like talking
Yeah.
about sex with your children. None of us look
Yes.
forward to talking about sex with our children, but it's one of
Exactly.
those things you should do it so someone else don't do it. That way you can control the information that your children's getting and making sure they're getting the right information. We need to speak
It's
to our
needed.
daughters. Yes, it is. It's needed to talk about it and let them understand, or daughters understand who they are, their self-worth, give them positive affirmations so that their self-esteem is strong. Make sure that don't tell them they don't need a man, and put it
Hmm.
to they don't need a man to mistreat them. You
Hmm.
understand? And we need to make sure we speak like that, but we also need to talk to our sons and let them know that they're not deserving of a woman mistreating them verbally
Right.
or physically, and that they're
Right.
not weak because they go through it, that they do have the support that they have, that they do have support if they're going through it. I mean, I'm just saying, people, it's important that we have these type of conversations, and this is a conversation I couldn't wait to have because I feel like a lot of people need to hear this. Miss Mo,
Hmm.
before you go, I have to ask you one more question. Somebody out here right now watching this show is dealing with domestic violence. They're in they're in a relationship with domestic violence. Their partner is beating on them. Maybe they're controlling their finances. Maybe they're emotionally tormenting them. Maybe they're mentally tormenting them. Some type of way they're going through some type of domestic violence or torment. They don't know what to do. They don't know. They don't have a support system to turn to. They just need some advice on how to get out of the situation or how to best handle the situation. Um, just in your opinion, what advice would you give that person who's currently dealing with this?
I would tell them to, even if you're afraid, do it afraid. Please get enough courage. Just like the Bible says, to have a mustard seed of faith, have a mustard seed of courage. To tell someone, all it takes is one person you can trust. I've known people who have told their best friends' moms that have helped. They went to school and told teachers, I'm talking kids, and tell one person that you feel as though you could trust, a pastor, a neighbor, an aunt, an uncle, a doctor, anybody, and love yourself enough. You got to love yourself before you can even love the kids, because kids are in it and they're watching it in certain situations. Before you can even love the kids, you have to love yourself. And I am asking you to so love yourself. Find that one person. Please tell them, if you're in a situation, you got to get a plan. Get a plan of escape and leave. And please mean it when you do it. Value your life, because if it comes down to it and he takes your life, there is no more you, and you don't have any more life. Then if there's kids involved, they've lost their mother, and then they're going to lose, if that's their father, because 9 times out of 10 he's going to jail. So I beg you, only because I've seen it, I've heard of it, I've watched it. Love yourself enough to get some help, please. Even if, and I'm saying, do it scared, because if you are scared, you are intimidated. Do it scared. Get a plan, but you do not deserve to be beat on. You're too beautiful. You're too valuable. You do not deserve the mental abuse, the verbal abuse. You are so much more. And if you love yourself enough, there is somebody who can love you just the same without beating on you, putting you in a hospital, breaking your arm, breaking your leg, knocking your teeth out. That is not love. That's pain. And love should not hurt. I ask you to love yourself enough and do it afraid.
Well said. Couldn't even say it better. Thank you. That was beautiful and true. Listen, I'm gonna put in the description tab. If you are someone out there, you or someone you know is dealing with domestic violence, we're gonna put a phone number in there to get help with
Absolutely.
domestic violence or get the domestic violence hotline, find the shelter you need to go to, because sometimes that's one of the issues with people who are dealing with domestic violence. You don't have anywhere to go, but we're going to make sure that you get the help that you truly need to deal with this issue. This is an issue that you do not have to suffer with alone anymore. You have the support of this show, Miss Mo, so she's going to support you as well. Miss Mo, if people want to get in touch with you for life coaching or to book you for a speaking event, how is the best way they can get in contact with you?
They can email me at James Page, JANESPAGEIV at AOL.com. My name, Moneira Hawkins. I'm on Facebook. I'm on Instagram. I'm on Twitter. All you got to do is put it in. On Instagram, you could type in like JPIV, and I have 3 pages on there for my businesses. They should just pop up. So you can email me, or you can reach me on social media, and we can connect that away. And that's how you can get in touch with me.
We'll make sure we get as much of that information as we can in the description tab as well. So if you want to book Miss Mo for a speaking event or speaking engagement, Miss Mo will hit her up, social media. If you know you're looking for life coaching or some way to turn around your life and better your life, Miss Mo is also there to help you out with that. Take advantage of this opportunity. It's a great opportunity not only to learn about about domestic violence, but also learn about the fact that you can change your life, you can turn around your life. As long as you have air in your lungs, as long as you're breathing above ground, you still have the opportunity, still have the chance to make a change, make a difference in your life, to turn around your life, despite whatever issues, mistakes you made in your past. Tomorrow is a brighter day. Tomorrow is a new opportunity to become a better you. Take advantage of the opportunity that's been presented to you. Again, Miss Mo, thank you so much for being a part of this show, being a guest on the show. I definitely want to have you back soon because we got more we can get into, more we're going to talk about. I'm gonna get in contact with you off air because we're going to talk about this lifetime thing, without all these people. And, we're going to figure it out, okay? We're going to figure it out. All right, we're going to figure that part out. But again, thank y'all for watching. Remember to like, comment, share this video, even if it's not you. Share it with someone else that may need to hear this message, may need to hear this conversation. If you want to be a guest on the Past and Present podcast, then you can hit me up through Instagram. Alan the Great, hit me up through Instagram, Facebook, Past Present. Better hit me through Instagram. I'm not going to lie to you. You probably get a better response from me faster. But hit me up. Let me know what you think about this show and other shows. Or if you want to take over the Past and Present podcast, I'm going to say it today first. We're going to do something called Flip the Script, where I'm going to allow one person to take over the Past and Present podcast. You ask the questions. You interview me. You set the tone. You pick the topic. You're going to be a guest. So if anybody wants to flip the script on me, put me on the spot, here's your chance. You can get me back for me putting everybody else on the spot. Because, Ms. Mo, I didn't even tell you what the questions were going to be, did I?
Nope, not at all. Not at all. No.
See? So now, here's your opportunity, people. You can get me back for putting you on the spot. Ask me questions. But seriously, hit me up. I want to thank you again, Ms. Mo, for being here. And until next time, people, I only got one thing left to say, y'all. Stay tuned. Peace.
All right. Thank you.